What better way to come back to YouTube after a whole year of a hiatus than to show you my mid-year planner journal check-in. So if you're coming from my Instagram, I showed a very short detail of all these notebooks, but I wanted to do like an full in-depth one and just talk about them a little bit more if you were interested. So if you're new, welcome. If you're coming from Instagram, here you go. Here's a very in detailed. So I think this is going to be kind of a long video. We'll see how chatty I am. But yeah, I hope to continue to keep making content because I am feeling very much inspired and I have a lot to talk about, and I always have stationery and books to talk about. So we'll continue doing my desk diaries that I had going on, and let's just get into it and then I'll just talk about it as we go. Okay, the first one that I show very often on my Instagram, and I am still very active over there in case you're curious, but is my Travelers Company. This is my red Love and Trip Travelers Company folder that I've had since, I think since it released. I'm not sure if I was in the first or second batch when these came out, but anyway, it's super loved. I have just this one that I got from Portland, Oregon, and then this little Travelers coin thing, and then this one I just picked up from like Hobby Lobby or something, and this one is from LCN Company, this little Hope. I think I just ordered on her website. And then a little patch. I don't have a whole bunch of patches usually on my TNs. I only have one insert in here. This is just one Travelers Company insert that I use for junk journaling. So this is my main junk journaling area. Let me adjust this camera so it's more centered down. Okay, so yeah, I have a clear cover on it. I only have one insert in here because I knew this one was going to get really chunky, but I just started it in October of last year. So in here, I just have like the leftovers because I have two of the calendars. This is the Zoton one. I don't use it all. I don't use it every day. There's a lot of days that I just rip and throw away, to be honest. Sometimes I reuse them somewhere else. Sometimes I go back. And then I just have this new Traveler's Spirit, the pencil board. I just keep it in there so it's like stays like stiff. This was inspired by journaling with Lena, I believe, on Instagram. I think she had a similar setup on her page, so that was inspiration from her page. Yeah, so I'm not going to go into like super detailed, but I am a combination of both. When I travel, this starts off as a travel journal, like you can see on here, it's October, but I use both junk and usually stickers that I purchased from the city that I'm at. So, and then I use my own stationery. So this is like paper that I had, and then I just cut up like junk, and then I put pictures and then stamps and then write, obviously. But I know there's like a huge, uptick in junk journaling videos and like what your style is of junk journaling. There is no right or wrong way. I don't think this is just what feels right for me. I use a combination of stuff that I get on my trips, stickers that I buy specifically, and then my own stash. So anyway, just thought I'd share that. But yeah, this is just when I went to Pittsburgh. Again, I just collect. That's a new one. I never used to collect postcards for some reason, but there's such a good tie-in to put in there and then to write on the back. Like it just gives you like extra more space. I don't know. I just never started doing that until this notebook. But anyway, here's some more postcards, and then you can add, yeah, I found a lot of fun stickers from Pittsburgh. So that was my first time going there. This was my daughter's birthday. I'm obsessed with Alice in Wonderland, if nobody knows. I do love Alice in Wonderland a whole bunch. So yeah, my daughter wanted to go there for her 20th birthday, so we took her there. And then they had a whole bunch of fun stuff for like, because it's Halloween time. Her birthday's in October, so of course, like we had so much like fun Halloween stuff. And then so I mean, I tell the story all the time. Me and my best friend have been friends since we were 16, and now our daughters are also best friends, and they're 20. And they're only 4 months apart. So best friends. So yeah, we big, huge Disney fans. This is a book festival that I went to. This is Love in Vegas here in Vegas. And of course, like this type of stuff is like so fun to collect because obviously I went by myself, but I met people there, like obviously for authors and stuff. But I collected a lot of ephemera, like the stickers, like business cards, pictures I took, like they give you a lot of freebies. They give you a lot of sticker packs. Like you can buy so much stuff from there. I thought that was funny. I just used my mail for that. And then this is like, my friend sent me this little fun postcard, so I kept that in here. What else? Oh, this is a book trip that I did, me and my friend did specifically to go book, like doing book stuff in Oceanside, which was super fun. Our friend took us like around 3 or 4 different bookstores around Southern California. So that was just like the best time ever. Like I can't wait to go back. So yeah, we were there. I just picked up an LAX postcard while I was at the airport. Yeah, super fun. Went to the Wicked pre-screening. Thanksgiving, I didn't do much, unfortunately. Sometimes I'm not in the mood or I don't have a lot of pages or a lot of stuff to write. Oh, what's this? Oh, this is just like a little dashboard. Anyway, see, sometimes I do use them. Sometimes I do use the little Zooton. I have the Zoton, and then I can't remember the other one, what store I got it from. Oh, I can't remember. It's spacing me. But anyway, oh my God, funny story. This is a lunch bag that I won somewhere. And I didn't have a need for it, so I gave it to my dad. And now my mom's telling me that my dad uses this lunch bag. Like he literally will take it everywhere, anywhere. So anyway, it's just a cute little dad memory there. This was a Valentine's Day dinner that we did. This, I just put a bunch of stamps in there. This was the Bad Bunny, aka the Super Bowl that I had with my friends. I never went back and wrote in it. I really should, because that was just a fantastic time. Of course, this is the California Pen Show that I go to every year with my friends. And this one, it just came out so cute because, again, they give you so much ephemera. We take a whole bunch of pictures. All the shops give you stamps. It's super fun. And yeah, 2 days worth of fun stuff. Met some fun people. Like you just, I think people ask me this sometimes in my Instagram, how I make it my style. I just layer. So like I honestly just layer. That's like this one you can see is a very beginner like spread, but like I will put a piece of background so that it doesn't look stark white, and then I just layer pictures first and then bigger stickers after. Sometimes I'll put the date, like I leave enough space for the date, and then usually just go back and just put little stickers, and then I just layer and layer and layer, and then like sometimes I go off of vibe, sometimes I go off of color. But yeah, that's how I get this look. I just layer it, and then any little space, sometimes I'll leave a little space just on the paper itself, like on the insert itself, so that I can write with my fountain pens, because I only write in fountain pens. I do not write in gel pens. I do write in Tombos, and I will write in my fun markers, but the writing itself only in fountain pens. But yeah, then I just add little stickers literally everywhere. So that's how I get this look. I just layer. And then if I find a white space, I'm just not good with white space. Like I just have to go back and like find another sticker to put on top of it. And even then I will layer on top of that. So yeah, that's how I get that look. But sometimes I draw in here depending on how much space I have. Obviously this is a slimmer insert, so I don't, sometimes obviously like the ephemera is like bigger and stuff, so I don't really leave a lot of space to draw. And I have a different one for drawing, so I don't usually draw in this one. But yeah, this is just a day that I had with my daughter. So we, even if it's like one evening, like I just make a whole, I just make a whole spread out of it. Like I just romanticize. It sounds silly, but it's not. But this is just how I romanticize like the smallest things. Yeah. And then this one just kind of came out kind of funny because I didn't finish it, but got my nails done here. Like this is my Dodgers Bagoo bag that I got. And then I picked a little a calico critter. I love those little critters. And then this is just like a tiny little, I remember what I think. Oh, I think I did draw this. I did. This was a book I was reading, an audiobook. So I just like drew the cover. Yeah. Or like in my head, what it normally looked like. This was a museum day I took myself out on. So I wrote a little bit about that, and I have museum stickers. This is a brochure that the museum had. And then this was just like, it kind of matched the theme that I just had. So I just put that in there. This was the same day. I just ended up doing 2 different events on the same day, but I took myself to Springs Reserve to the butterfly exhibit. And then I just sat there and drew. I didn't have enough space to do that. But then at the second event, I went to another book event with some friends at Barnes and Noble. So yeah, when I have a lot of events, it's like super packed in here. This was a different day when I also my friends and I went doing some book stuff. A lot of my friends now do book stuff, so it's just like fun to go out and do book stuff, book shopping, book browsing. This little page had a little mini viral moment over on Instagram because I just posted this as a reel. And so the book that's out right now is the World Cup sticker album that everyone's kind of going crazy over. Well, I only bought like 2 or 3 packs and I got the Mexico like team sticker, which is fantastic because there's about 1,000 stickers. So I don't know what the chances are of you getting this one. But the day I pulled this was the day that Mexico won against South Korea. So that video went viral. And this is just paper I had, obviously butterflies. There's a lot of this like Mexico things in there. I should have used some of the book and like sticker stuff. But anyway, I'll probably do a different spread. And then I drew the USA jersey because they also played and ended up winning this day. And then I drew my little soccer ball. Cowboy boot just because it's, I don't know, it's Mexico, Austin, I don't know. Texas is also hosting, so yeah. And then I put my Hola Amigas stickers because she is a Latina sticker owner and I wanted to include her in there. And Coke Zero, I just always feel like it's Mexican. And then I just put in some other little things and just wrote about it. So yeah. And then that's it for this one. I have a few pages to go. I'm still gonna fill this out. And then, yeah. And then this one, I just keep a lot of extra pictures, like brochures, I don't know, extra ephemera that I want to use, that I haven't journaled or just I'm probably not going to journal with. They're just in here. So yeah. So anyway, that's this one. This one's not going anywhere. This one I'll probably use it like every year. I love this thing. This is just like my favorite junk journaling one. Okay, so the next one is my memory keeper. This is my Hobonichi A6 cover. This is the, Yumi Kirigashi. There we go. So anyway, I love this thing. I really wanted a colorful one for this year just because, I don't know, I bought this last year, mid-year probably sometimes. And now I noticed that there's just so much more color in the journaling world and it just makes me so happy to look at this every day. So yes, this one I still use. I just have some stickers in here. This is the last one that I pulled, the Mooncatcher, because I really love that series. And then I just have my Proud Child of Immigrant sticker in here from my friend over on Instagram that she made. And then I just have a Virgo sticker and then Springs Preserve and then a postcard. And then that's just the cover. Okay, so I don't know if you guys want me to go through this. How I use this is just basically a couple sentences a day. So this is the layout here. And this one is a blank page. So I also got this idea from Rocky. She was doing this in a bigger style planner. But I was like, you know what? My life is not that busy where I go out every single day and like collect ephemera, but I probably do have a couple things I can add in here a week. So for the most part, my life is not that busy. So I decided to just do like a few sentences, like memory keep for the day. Yeah, and it's worked out. So this was New Year's and I've kept up with it pretty much every single week, other than maybe a few weeks. But yeah, see, I just go to like one place and then, you know, like a little whatever. Sometimes I'll draw. Sometimes I'll put something important. Our family dog passed away. So that was what that day was there. But yeah, sometimes I just put like teams. I watch, you know, different games. This is just when the NFL is playing. When the games are on. I do watch sports, so I am a sports girl as well. I just don't advertise that as much. Yeah, so then here's just me testing some inks, and yeah, went to college. Sometimes there's not much to write about. This was the Grammys and the Super Bowl Sunday. This is Valentine's Day, so sometimes I write it a little bit bigger over here. I just started doing that. I try to keep it all in my black ink pen, which is my like daily everyday. This one I probably should get another one just because it's so beat, but it's so trusty. It never fails me. And then I just have the document ink in here. So that's usually what I'm writing with, unless I want to be fancy and use my other fountain pens. Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year. I went to LA. This was the pen show. I just didn't write because you guys saw I have a bunch of other stuff written in there. I did a little bit fancier in here, which was the paper in the background. I just think it gets too thick and I didn't really like that. So I did not continue that. This is just more ephemera. that week we won't talk about. I did a walk, like a cancer walk. And then this was just another event I did, a cute little sticker, and then trivia night. I like this style too. If I don't have a lot of things going on, I mean, this sticker obviously took up the whole space, but sometimes I'll just like play with writing and play with my markers, and then that's it. Like it just depends, you know. I just kind of collect it as I go, and I try to fill it in with my own stuff if I don't have a lot going on, like sticker wise. But yeah, but I liked how I started adding little things in here, although I try not to do that just because there's only room in here for a few sentences. So, by the way, did I mention what planner this is? This is a Sterling ink. This is the A6H full year common planner in A6. So I always like to have at least one common planner every single year because her paper honestly just has never given me trouble. I know last year Hobonichis I didn't have that problem because I was in an A5 Sterling ink planner instead of the cousin, so I had no issues the year everyone else had issues. So I think she's just my go-to tried and true. At least one of my planners have to be from Sterling ink every single year. So I got a Dutch Bros sticker, went to go see Michael by myself. This was just me doing stuff by myself this week. Yeah, and then sometimes I draw. It depends how creative I'm feeling. But yeah, I drew a little thing with some markers that I had this week. I just put this nope sticker because nope. And this is the current week. So I also drew something in there and I wanted to keep it Mexico red, white, and blue themed. And then I didn't have enough space to put the Knicks win championship, but you know, I'm not from New York, but go Knicks. And then the rest of it is you know, to be determined. I didn't really write in the rest of the pages because I didn't really pay attention to the rest of the pages, so they're just kind of empty. I don't know what I'll use that for. I probably should, but I haven't as of yet. Okay, let's move on to one that I did not keep using. So this is another A6. I thought I was going to use this for content planning. Life got in the way, and I don't think I'm that big of a content planner girly, to be honest. Like my creativity comes the same day. Usually, like my creativity sparks the same day. Sometimes I'll write in here, like I started to a little bit in the beginning of the year because obviously I wanted to, you know, to grow my social media and like continue sharing my ideas and stuff. But I just don't keep up with this. And sometimes I come in there and put in more stuff, but like this is just not a big priority planner. So, but the case I had, I think since last year, and I really like the style. It's very sturdy. It keeps up well. Like you can throw it in your bag, although I don't. It just sits on my desk. And oh, this is my Coach cover in A5 that I got. This was my work planner at the beginning of the year. I'm no longer using it for that, and I will leave it at that. I'm not going to open this. I was using a Muji planner that my brother had brought me back from Japan, and then an A5 notes pages that I just had all my work notes in, so obviously I'm not going to open it. I will probably reuse this, but yeah, that's it for that one that I absolutely loved this year. So this was the mustard, gosh, what's the name? I forgot the name of this one. I'll post it here, or I'll put it here so that you guys can see like the actual name. But my friend made these for us and I put it on here. But this one is the cousin. So I wanted to get a cousin. Of course, I didn't know what I was going to use it for, but I am very glad to have this. Now, I didn't use it for the past month and a half or so, but I am slowly getting back into it. No way, shape, or form I am giving this up because it is way too much of a fun time in here. So this is the one that I haven't really talked about much yet, but I'm going to share here and then on Reels at some point. But so what I wanted to do this for was for learning. This is my curriculum planner. This is where I go, and if I want to learn about a specific subject, I will put a few different books, movies, documentaries, articles, print some pictures, and put it all in here for the future. So it has nothing to do with memories, calendars, scheduling. It has nothing to do with that. This is just strictly for me to learn about new things, which I thought was really fun. Someone introduced that this year. I follow her on TikTok, and now it's kind of all over the place, but it's basically a curriculum that you give yourself for like a month, 2 months at a time. So I'll show you guys the way that I did it and what are things that interest me, or what questions do I have. Like, so that's what I wrote in here. Like randomly, I would just write what kind of questions I wanted to be more interested in. Like what interests me, right? So January, I kind of just started, and I'll show you what I did for January. But February, I knew was going to be Black History Month. And then I wanted to do romantic Gothic themes, because I think Wuthering Heights was a big, like it was just everywhere, and it's like the month of romance. So those two things were enough for me to have enough material to get started. And then, so in the weekly pages, I really got into it the first couple weeks, you'll see here. So what I did is I would write the curriculum down, and then I started going like, okay, how do I start this? Because it is a little overwhelming. But what I started with was with, okay, I want to learn about Italy. I've always loved Italy, and I want to know more about the Roman Empire. Like, what is the Roman Empire? Like, what is all that? So anyway, obviously I put work in here, but like if I wanted to watch Frankenstein on Netflix, so I put that in here. Actually, that should have been in February, but whatever, it's fine. I think I had read Frankenstein at the end of last year, so that was just on my list of things that I wanted to explore, book versus the movie. So I wrote that in here. And then I also downloaded Substack. If you guys don't know what that is, like I have a Substack too. I haven't started writing yet. I wrote one article, but like I'm going to continue doing that as well at some point. But there's some really, really interesting articles that people go in super depth about very niche things. So if I read an article in the morning, I would write it down. Like the article that I wrote that morning or read that morning was A Frankenstein of Our Time, America, right? So it got easier. I started, what did I do here? Oh, I started a Yale course on YouTube. It's like very elementary. Obviously it's free. And you can I watched the architecture of Italy and like how that started. So then I would watch vlog videos on YouTube about life in Rome. I watched Stanley Tucci in Italy. And then, that created my spark even more in food. So then I watched some movies, which was that movie? Julia and Julia. Then I also started taking some other books out from the library, just had, nothing to do with it. But anyway, I continued that for like a couple weeks. I would put in here, like if I read, and then I bought these like reference books from Barnes and Noble, those coffee table books. Well, I bought those and actually read them. So I would read a couple pages at a time because they're huge picture books and like there's just a lot of information. So I would just familiarize myself with that. And honestly, it helped a lot because they give a lot of information on that. And they're like $12 books. Like they're not that big of a deal, right? So then I would just write like what pages I was reading, like if I listened to an audiobook, if I got any snail mail that was like related, because I was part of this architecture snail club. So yeah, that's honestly what I kept doing here. I just kept adding, more podcasts. Like if I watched like a the Met on YouTube and they were talking about an Italian painter, I really got into the Roman Empire and learned about that. And then I honestly, if I watched it throughout the day, I would just write it down. And then the Inferno, that's how I continued the book series, The Inferno, because it's in Italy, right? And that whole thing, like I was obsessed with that book and Rome. And so anyway, I continued the series and then I watched the movies, which was on theme, the Angels and Demons movie. And then moving on to February. Also, I also kind of veered off a little bit. Sometimes I would write other stuff. So like I read Notes to Joan Didion, which has nothing to do with Italy, but it was just like something that I was like learning about, and it had to do with like, I don't know, something that interested me. So it's not all Italy, but I tried to stay like on brand with that. February, I continued it. So I watched the Gladiator movie. I've never watched that before. And then I moved into February, which was true like Black History Month. So I watched a lot of YouTube videos on this. I think I read some books as well, which I don't keep in here, but I would read yeah, I read some stuff on Black history and then also on the Bronte sisters. I had no idea about them. And then I continued some, like, if I saw something that interested me to watch on YouTube, usually it was like an Italian painter or something, that I would watch that. Yeah, the Atlantic slave trade. So, and then I would paint, print out pictures. This was a great movie that I found on Hulu about the first Black violinist. Yeah, so that was super interesting. But anyway, yeah, I just continued this and just found things that were kind of all related to what I was already learning about, and I just made sure to write them down in here. And this is going to be fun to look at, like in the future, like if I want to reference something. I have all these notes of like specific, Gothic literature. So I guess it's kind of like a commonplace, but to me, it's more like a curriculum one. I watched PBS a lot. I researched the International Booker Prize list. What else? Jazz documentary was fantastic. I used my library a lot. And then I got March. So March, I kind of did Irish history, Greek retellings, space, because obviously Hail Mary was going to come out. I didn't get to all of this, but this is like what I've actually done. So think of this as like a weekly breakdown of, like, if I read an article, I would write it down. If I listened to a podcast, I would write it down. So anyway, yeah, that's what that is. Marie Antoinette, that was actually the perfect March movie, because Marie Antoinette, if you haven't seen it, while doing a spring puzzle, like, there is nothing more elite to me than watching something I'm very interested about, a curriculum wise, and then doing a puzzle. Like, I love puzzles. Actually, I had to buy a new puzzle table. Mine broke. But yeah, so continued that. Did a little bit of Hades and Persephone retelling. I did buy another book for the Greek retellings instead of the Roman Empire. So now I have two. I kind of stopped a little bit here because life got a little bit in the way, so I didn't really get to do April and May as much as I would have liked. But I am going to jump back into this. We're only in June, so I'm not really that upset over it. So let me go through the daily pages with you real quick. This was the beginning of each month. I kind of wrote it down more in detail, again, about the same stuff. What kind of question do I want to answer? What material, what book, what movie, what podcast, that type of thing. And then I just kind of started doing that. So if I had the question, I went through it. If I had book recs that someone was giving, I kind of did that. The way I did it, though, was this, because I can't write a whole page sometimes about the specific thing I'm learning about, because either there's not that much to write about, or like I lose interest, right? Like, I didn't really lose interest, but I didn't want to write a whole page about one specific thing. So I broke it down into like a few different sections, just so that I'm not learning the same thing for like 4 weeks. Like, this is your thing. Like, you can change it up however you want. So like on here, like I watched a documentary on the History Channel about Cleopatra. So I just wrote a little tiny brief about it. And then over here, I had rented a book called The Autoimmune Cure, so I wrote a little thing about it, right? So the poet Virgil, like, I thought that was interesting. But yeah, so like the Roman Empire, architecture, like Greco-Roman. So I kind of broke it down. So like if I read an article, I would section it off. And then if I read something else and I learned about something else, I would section it off. Sometimes I was learning about 3 different things in one day, so I would just write like a little brief history and then print little pictures. So Substack has just amazing pictures that you can print. Like this type of stuff, you can just print it off of on Substack or Pinterest. Or, sometimes I had stickers that I would use as well, but like a lot of the times, Substack or my architecture book that I use, my sticker book, I would use that stuff. This is continuing kind of the same thing. If I saw a quote, so it's just very much, this was cool. I drew a picture from my book. That's the Pantheon. And then this is like from one of the famous paintings in Italy. But yeah, you can kind of see, like, I kind of got more, it made more sense the more I went off with this, because I was like, okay, I want to learn about this, but then, your brain is like, I want to learn about that now. So then you go and switch topics. But I just drew the line so I wouldn't, like, lose myself into what I was doing, and just to keep it like separate, and then I can go back and it would make sense. So like, yeah, like if I was learning about therapy, like I just wrote the stuff about therapy. This was me at a new library. That famous painting that was like infamous at the Met Gala this year as well, which was kind of funny with you know whose wife was. That's anyway, thought that was interesting. Yeah, and then I had these stickers here, so I was already kind of going along with what I had. Yeah, I kind of love the way it looks going back and looking at it, because it looks like like this is what my notes would look like if I went back to school. You know what I mean? Like probably I would use an iPad just for convenience, but I would also probably write it down, and this is what my subjects would look like. So only for me, it's all in one notebook. Yeah, this was like super fun. Like, look at this. Like, this just looks like I'm going to school, right? So other than scrolling, like this is just what I was doing a lot of this year. So feminist movement, which I thought was really fun. Caravaggio, like this one like came out beautiful because it's February and I did it in my pink ink that I'm obsessed with, and I had these like beautiful stickers. And anyway, yeah, I did a lot of really creative things with this. And now I also took inspiration. There's another girl, gosh, I can't remember. I'll have to go back and tag everyone because I can't remember. But she's also doing like this type where she makes her own stickers. You probably guys know who I'm talking about, but she made her own stickers. I didn't make any stickers. I just found all these and I had a lot of them. But like the style that she did, I found and like absolutely just like loved her style too. So yeah, that's where this comes from as well. But separating out, I mean, I kind of had an idea of separating out before I found her page, but then once I found her page, then I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, it makes so much more sense now. Yeah, my little Emily Bronte, because I did read Wuthering Heights and back in February, Dark Romanticism. Yeah, this was my Bridgerton page in February as well, and then fell off a couple pages, whatever, not a big deal. This was me in March doing some Greek mythology stuff, Athens, which I was huge into Athens because of that. And then Project Hail Mary came out, and then not the Odyssey. The Odyssey is going to come out in July, but I also want to get that in here for next month. But the NASA project, was also in here. So I was writing about Artemis and Apollo and Hades and spring stuff. So it just made sense for me to write about all that stuff. Love story, on FX. I was obsessed with that. Bunch of blank pages in here because that's just how it went. Unfortunately, I went back and did February. Oh no, what month is this? This is April. I think I only did like one page in April. And then, yeah, there's a lot of blank pages, guys, but it's fine. And then May, I did a little bit of in May, and then here we are. This was the last page that I did. Now, I know we're now in June, but this was just what I've got back to so far. I do plan on coming back to this. So anyway, that is a really long, lengthy explanation of my reading journal, or my curriculum journal. Next one is my Paper Republic. This one I also got in the end of last year. I added some charms to it, very book coded. So that's a heart romanticy style. There's a dagger and then a match. And this other one is this, I think I got from LCN too. And then over here I have a little lucky girl. It's a star that I got from Etsy, and I think this one I also got from Etsy. It's a sword. Anyway, I had that engraved. This is the A5 size. Yeah, so this is the Leuchtturm notebook that I'm using for different type of journaling. This one wasn't, I wanted to do more long form, but also junk journaling. So it's like a combination of junk journaling and longer form handwriting. But the Leuchtturm you can use your fountain pens in. So I did my what my thoughts were on Frankenstein. That was in December of last year, but I started late December, so I think that's okay. And then obviously Stranger Things. This is the style I was doing. I was doing more writing and then every now and then putting a little picture or like these little calendar guys in there. ins and outs. So yeah, this is just a different type of journaling that I think looks fantastic, and I have more space to, so I guess it's like a combination of like a memory keeper and not so much junk journaling, but it's like journaling and memory keeper at the same time, but like when I want to write a longer format versus my small A6. That makes sense? Yeah, so yeah, see, it's just like longer sentences in here. And then I started to strip pages, Project Hail Mary. This is my sister. This is when I went to an event. And then this one I kind of did, I didn't mess it up, but like I threw this in here just because I wanted more space. Like I had larger ephemera to play with. So I was just like, you know what, we can do it in here. It's fine. And then this one was the most recent one that I did for my sister's baby shower. Okay, so that's this one. I have to go back and put like a cover page because I just love how those stickers look. Like Ponyo is my absolute favorite. Okay, so this is a Paper Republic folder that came when I ordered my Paper Republic. So this is the little folio, and this is also my Mail Club insert. So everything I got from Mail Club, I put it in here. Now, a lot of them I've already used up and just kind of, because a lot of them were stickers, and my postcards I store somewhere else, but like these things are just so cute. So I just put them in here. And then sometimes I get crafts. So, I mean, at this point I've canceled them all, unfortunately, but I will restart them later on. But yeah, so this is just like the most recent one. And this was like a little postcard or a little craft that you can like build 3 different, like you have to cut it all out and then put it together, which was fun. Oops. But I also got like this little craft to build in that one Mail Club. So she sent all this out. I followed her tutorial, and then you can just, it's like a windmill. It's so cute. Like I love this. This reminds me of when I went to Greece. So yeah, that was like another craft that I built. So anyway, I loved Mail Clubs this year. I still love them. This was like a postcard that came in there. So what I wanted to do, I saw someone do this idea, is to store them, because like I didn't know how to store them. So I just kind of pasted them in here, and I was going to go back and do like a recap and like decorate, but they came in quicker than I can catch up with them, to be honest. Like I was getting like a bunch a week and like a bunch a month. So by the time like I got to it, like I couldn't keep up with them. So yeah, I just pasted them in here just so I can have somewhere to, you know, collect them all. But I didn't really do much with most of them. Like they're just here, taped or pasted to the page individually. And yeah, that was like, well, you know what, I'll just have somewhere to keep them. But again, didn't really do much. Like this one I did write a little bit, and this one I did. So this is another little craft that like so fun. You can just like fold it and cut it out or whatever. It's so cute. This one I did. This one was like a little closet. They're so unique. I just like feel like they're so creative with those Mail Clubs. A matcha one, which I thought was super fun. And then this one I did write a little bit, but that's the last of it. I don't think I wrote into any of these. So anyway, I'm almost done with the answer, but I think that'll just be fun to collect this here at the end. So that's my Mail Club insert. I thought that was pretty fun. So then this is my Hobonichi weeks. This guy is still my go-to for pretty much everything. This is just like my daily planner. So I put a lot of just like stuff in here. This was like from a Mail Club too. I have some stamps, and then like a little from my hunter boots that I bought. And then in the back I have another Mail Club thing that I thought was cute, and then my LA sticker. And then I have some more stuff that I got from Mail Clubs. Like most of the stuff is from Mail Clubs. So that's like where I keep it all, because it's just so dang cute. Like I just keep it all in here. I had a picture of me and my daughter, but I think I took it out. But anyway, this is still the horse cover, the hardcover. And it fits like perfectly in here. And then I just have it. Oh, there's a picture of me and my daughter. It's right here. Yeah, so I just have this picture of us in here. And then again, Alice in Wonderland stickers in here. And then these are just how I decorated from the beginning of the year. Monthly is sporadic. Did not keep up with this. Rough year. You wouldn't know that though. So anyway, here's December. I mean, I kind of keep up with it a little bit here and there, but this is truly where I go to for like month ahead stuff. Like what am I doing next month type of thing. So I don't double book. or like double plan for certain things. So I just March, I kind of did. April and May is like, don't even ask me because those 2 months were terrible. June, we're back to normal. So, well, kind of. But I did use my milk chocolate ink in here. So yeah, so that's back to that. And then, yeah, this is just like my regular old monthly or weekly that I just like plan all my stuff in. So this one, I think I've been pretty consistent in maybe just like a week or two that I didn't plan in here. Usually that's how it is. Like if you're just busier, you just don't plan as often, I think maybe, I don't know. But like, yeah, if I had stuff going on, I try to recover. I don't know if it's a planner thing or what, but like even if I'm having a bad week, which I had many of those the last few months, I don't like to go that long being in a really dark place because I don't like to look back and see my planners empty. So I will show you an alternative if that's something that you're going through, because as a planner girl, I don't like to see empty pages because I don't like the idea of in the future not knowing what I did a certain day. I just don't. And I've been this way for years and years and years. Like, I mean, I've been a planner since before my daughter was born, and my daughter's now 20. So I just don't like that, but I'll show you the alternative. Like, see, like here, this is a rough week because you can tell, like, this is not my normal planning style. This is, and to go from this to this, like you can tell mentally it just wasn't there, but I didn't want to leave it blank. See, happy things. So this is my normal planning style. And this one is just, I won't show that because honestly, that's kind of a rough time. But see, this is the type of thing I don't like. Like, what do you do when you're having like off weeks? I'm curious because like for me, like I've now clipped those pages and I don't ever want to look at them ever again, but it kind of sucks because, I don't know. I just feel like that's going to be like rough for me in the future to like not look back on, but I don't want to give up my planner just because of that. So I tried to let it go for a few weeks and then I went back to somewhat my normal style. And then this one you can tell like I'm not feeling 100%, but I'm forcing myself to plan, and making myself plan helps me not stay in a funk longer than I need to be. So anyway, this was last week, or no, that was 2 weeks ago. And then this was last week. And then this week I still need to plan because today is Monday. And then the back pages I'm also just using normally. So I had in here, some goals pages, and then I do all the setup, and then sometimes I keep up with it and then sometimes I don't. So you can see April and May, like did not track my cycle. Adulting stuff I did try to put in there, de-stash, wish list, like brain dump. And then these are just dailies. Yeah, this is a future log, which I still have to go back and kind of fill it in. I do really good when I remember to do my dailies. If I have extra stuff, it always comes out super cute. Like I just love how daily pages looks in the back. So yeah, that's daily pages. And then we're back to normal now. I just had a brain dump, so I just kind of wrote it in there, but I plan on continuing this. This guy is my tried and true, and this is just a tried and true. Last one, or to the end. My last one is my Moleskine. So this one I randomly pick up. This is the Impressionism hardcover Moleskine, and I don't know, I just wanted a new notebook to have, and I'm not going to show this because this is the reason why. So all of my dark stuff, or not my dark stuff, all my not so happy things that they need somewhere to go. So I put them in here, basically. All my other stuff, like all the stuff that I don't want to write down in my regular weeks and my, memory planner, they're going in here because this one is just like it's just like writing, right? So there's no fluff in here. It's just kind of writing in here. And if I have kind of negative thoughts, it's going in here. So I'm giving my negative thoughts and my not so happy times a home in here so that at the end, I know that this notebook if I don't want to look at it, like I'm not having to go back and like find a specific date or something. On a completely different unrelated note, it's just I know this is going to be like my rough patch notebook, will you say? Um, so yeah, I don't know if you guys do that, but that's just what I decided to do just because it made sense in my brain to put it elsewhere. Like I still want to write like to-do lists and stuff down, but it's just like different. It's different than what's in my other like notebooks and journals and planners. So that's what that is. It's working for me right now. So I'm going to keep it until I feel like I don't need to keep it anymore. So there's that. It seems like a lot, I know, but this is what I'm using this year. Did I think that I was going to use all of them at any given moment? I mean, no, but that's the life of us planner fun girlies. Like we do this as a hobby. So that's my video. Hopefully I'll have more desk diaries for us in the future, but if you guys have any thoughts about any of this in the comments, and I will talk to you guys later.